It's a shame that Warner Brothers used the game for microtransactions because Shadow of War is such a good game. Well, that's what we're going to see today. I have been playing it on my ROG Ally. And frankly, I've been having a pretty good time. I think the game got a justly bad rap when it launched. It really deserved all the criticism it got. However, now they've stripped out all of the microtransactions and stuff, but like there's still a gap. Like that hole is still there. They didn't replace that with anything. It's still there. So for example, like they had a bunch of stuff for like XP boosts. Does anybody know about like any videos that did a good breakdown of the monetization stuff they did? Yong did a video way back in the day. Oh, look at this. Yong out. Check Yong out. Do you think he's getting all giddy for Armored Core 6? Probably. Get ready. There's going to be some toxic videos coming out, dude. It's going to be so insufferable. Even if the game's really good, people are going to be so freaking annoying about it.
Discussed an interview that design director Bob Roberts did with website Eurogamer. In the interview, when asked about concerns regarding game balance and progression due to the implementation of loot boxes and microtransactions, Bob claimed that the game has been balanced so that the game could be enjoyed without them. He said, "We're working our tails off to make this massive game, and as a designer, I focus on balancing it. We do a ton of playtesting to make sure it is tuned to a setting where people can enjoy it. We kept all of the loot boxes and the economy of real-world money turned off in playtesting, so we know we're balancing around an experience which is rewarding without any of that stuff."
That's exactly what you would hope to hear. It's like I for example did some testing with Assassin's Creed Odyssey where it really seemed like they balanced the game and the XP payouts assuming you had the XP boost enabled, because when you had it enabled you just kind of glided from main quest to main quest to main quest and then you hit the ending. With it turned off, no XP boost, you go main quest, main quest, main quest, and then you hit right before the ending and you have to grind for like 20 hours of gameplay. It's a ton. And so to me, that's pretty clear. Okay, they balanced it, assuming that you have that thing enabled. However, in this case, they said that they balanced it, but as we're about to see, they almost certainly didn't balance it, according to somebody never touching loot boxes, because the end game grind to get the true ending is crazy.
Hopefully, when it is out there and people are able to talk about their experiences, then the balancing question will be answered, hopefully by people you trust to play through it and see that. Sounds reassuring at a glance, but to me, these words rang hollow from the moment I heard them, because we have been there, done that. Time and again, developers and publishers have claimed the exact same thing, only for the final microtransactions and loot box infested product to not live up to those words. And unfortunately, as it turns out, Shadow of War is no different. The following information comes from various reviews that have been making waves across the internet. For the most part, the game has been fairly well received by critics, praised for an excellent combat system, an expanded open world, the introduction of fortress sieges, and improvements to the unique Nemesis system that the series is best known for. Most reviews also agree that for the most part, microtransactions and loot boxes can be ignored without too many adverse effects, as the game does grant you weapons, armor, and orc followers aplenty. That's not to say that they aren't distracting. As website Eurogamer described it in their review, the fact these chests aren't necessary, however, does little to diminish the awareness that they're very much a part of the game, especially when you're reminded of the market's existence by way of an announcement carousel.
Carousel. Carousel. I'm sorry. That's just funny. By the way, Brandon, thank you. Haven't been in a stream in a while. Good to be back near the end of one. Also, you have any vids on YouTube about RE2 and RE3 remakes? If I recall correctly, I did one on Resident Evil 2 or 3 remake. It's the one that was super short, because I felt insulted at how short it was. So I made a video complaining about that. So that's out there. It's like a mini review. And then I don't think I ever did one for Resident Evil 2. I don't know why. Maybe it was like during finals or something. I think it was something with school was going on, where my schedule was just like totally booked up. But I think it was something like that. Jim Sterling did a video 5 years ago.
In a case of far too little, far too late, Middle-earth Shadow of War is the latest game to pull a bit of a U-turn in terms of its monetization.
Oh yeah, dude, I forgot about these menus. These are still kind of in the game, but they've taken a little bit of a different look. Like they have crates you can open, but it's not done in this way. Also, like you'll see a permanent XP multiplier, which if you ever see something like this in the game, you better believe that this thing is built to be grindy, because they're basically selling you an XP boost. That's what that is. As for this, like Olog Shock Troop War Chest, recruit 3 Olog followers, 3 Orc followers, at least 1 legendary, 2 epic, 2 consumables, and 2 hour Spoils of War boosts. So you get boosts and followers. Awesome. The frustrating thing now is, though, the grind has been reduced a little bit, but it's still there. Like there's still a lot of grind, because right now when we boot into the game, when we actually swap over, you're gonna see I'm at the end of the game. Like I've played through it. I've reached whatever kind of faux ending you initially hit, and then now I'm in the end game grind, where you're just running around doing like the same thing over and over and over again. Luckily, the core loop is really fun, but it's still super annoying that grind is there. It's very frustrating.
War is the latest game to pull a bit of a U-turn in terms of its monetization strategies, following on from EA's impressive backtracking with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, dude, both Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Shadow of War launched within just like a few months of each other. And they were both horribly monetized. Like 2017 was the year of corporations really pushing that boundary. It was crazy.
Major difference, of course, is that Warner Brothers has sat for months on a loot box flavoured Shadow of War. A game that was released late last year. It's April 2018 now. It's been months, and only just now, the developers are saying, you know what? We think that might have undermined the Nemesis system a bit. You don't fucking say. I said that when I first played the game. I said it when I played the game. I said it when I beat the game. I said it during the top 10 shittiest games of 2017 award video I did. Multiple times other people said that I was overblowing it, blowing it out of proportion. But here we go. The developer themselves have fucking admitted it now. Although, again, too little, too bloody late. The core premise of the Nemesis system is the ability to build relationships with your personal allies and enemies in a dynamic open world. While purchasing orcs in the market is more immediate and provides additional player options, we have come to realise that providing this choice risked undermining the heart of our game. You don't say. You mean the ability to...
Yeah, the whole thing never really made sense. Like, you can upgrade orcs to legendary. You can get them there. And you can level them up. You can get them to the point where they can... Oh, did the game freeze? Hold on. There we go. You can get them there. It just takes a little bit of time. Like if we go here, you can see like if I select he's legendary, but if I select this guy who's not legendary, I can command and then training orders, and you can go in and you could give him legendary training. You can see it's super expensive with the little currency you collect. Super expensive. It's 20,000. But you can make them legendary. But this was the whole thing, is they made it so difficult to get a legendary orc that has all sorts of extra perks and boosts and stuff, and extra power, that you would just say, screw it, I'm going to buy a loot box and unlock at least 1 legendary, maybe more, and then 2 epics, which is what we want, right? And it's just, the thing's built to push you into that. Okay. Now we're going to go find this guy. We're going to do it. Also, each Nemesis mission boosts them based on who they defeat's rarity. Yes. Frankly, like, there is a lot here, which is why it's all the more frustrating and depressing to see how it was treated. Because the game, even with that stuff stripped out, is just like a little hollow. Because it's so heavy on the grind, you just feel as though there should be a way to make more XP and stuff, and there just isn't. One of the top searched Google things relating to this game is how do I gain more XP? And if people are having to search that, you got a problem. Because they shouldn't have to. They really shouldn't. They should just be able to play the game, have a good time, and then finish the game. And if they want to keep grinding, they can keep grinding just because it's fun, getting more and more powerful. But they shouldn't be like searching online, spending time out of their day to figure out if there's another way to do it faster because it's taking forever. You know? Have I tried the expansions? I tried back like maybe 2 years ago. I tried them. I don't remember much about them, but I remember I bought them and tried them. I think that was on Xbox, on my Xbox copy. This copy is on Game Pass so that I can continue my progress from my ROG Ally and any other handhelds and stuff. If I do cloud streaming, I can play this and have my save files saved and transferred, which is awesome. But I could never finish the game as I simply don't have the time to grind this hard. Well, yeah, so like I said, I've technically finished the story. I've gone through all those missions. But now I'm in the heavy grind where I'm pushing for the real ending. And now I'm just like going through the motions. Which, frankly, Sandra's, I'm just gonna push up to what I was gonna do. Like, frankly, it's ooh. It's not the worst thing ever. Oh, baby. Ooh, because the Nemesis system really is at its peak. But the whole concept of, like, buying orcs and doing that just doesn't make any sense. Because the whole point is that you're supposed to be going through the motions of gameplay, finding orcs like this, Zuka the Angry, and then analyzing them, talking to them, figuring out what makes them tick, gaining intel, all of that, and building like passive relationships with them, having dynamic stories born out of that gameplay, right? And in this case, like, it just doesn't fulfill that goal. It just directly is in conflict with it. Stabby, stabby. I keep tapping B to dodge, man. That's not even what it is. So I meant to do that. Now we can see what happens. So he kills me, and then he's going to get promoted. He's going to go up in level. So he was level 30. He's going to go to like 44. Gains a new title, levels up, and now he's on the board right there. So now I'm like, well, screw him. I want to go hunt him down. So I'm going to chase him down. Did they get him? Executing. Booyah. The deranged succeeded. He levels up to 40. New unknown captains take over. Ooh, baby. So then there's all this that just kind of fills in. So now I mark him as my target and I start to seek him out because I want to get revenge. And if he kills me again, we build that relationship even further. And if I kill him, he has the chance to escape. And so he might be able to do that. He also has the chance to be spared by me. I could do that if I wanted to continue building a relationship with him. There's also roles that the game does to try and determine whether like an orc in question is more interesting to you. So they have like I don't know what you call it, an engagement score, I guess, where it just calculates how often and frequently you've been interacting with them, even down to like looking in the menus and stuff. And if they find that you're particularly interested and invested in this orc, they will give him skills so that he can escape, so that he can do better and hopefully not die, so that you can continue engaging with him further, which is just really cool. There's a ton of crazy systems at play here, like a ton of really, really cool stuff. But so many people never got to see it or experience it simply because the game was, for one, undermined by the monetization, and the press surrounding it was so negative, a lot of people just didn't even bother trying. Maybe an Arkham-style Batman game with a Nemesis system. Yeah, back in the day, I said one of the things I thought could do really well was like a Suicide Squad style game where like you have those dynamic sort of mini heroes or mini villains that are generated and you can build relationships with. So I thought that could work. A Batman game where you're fighting up and coming mini heroes or mini villains rather that are trying to get a start. That could be really interesting. Night pops up. And now we're going to go try to get revenge. Man, filth. Seriously, there's so much here. Frankly, like, you can build out... Oh, he led me into an ambush. That's funny. Oh, God. We cleared him out quick. Zuka Lucky Shot. So he got a new title. And then I'll claim him. He's too high level, so I don't think I'll be able to actually do much. So I'll just shame him. Down to 36, but now he has been taught a lesson. Then you can see that XP is paying out up top, but it is like so aggressively. Ooh. It's so aggressively painful to level up in this. Like to get Talion from 36 to 37 takes like an hour and a half, it feels like. 2 hours maybe even. It's just way more than it should be. Nemesis system is S tier. I wish it was in more games. Well, what they did is they filed a patent for it. So they went in. Can I just do this? No, I can't. So the Nemesis system patent. And they legally protected it. So if, say, Ubisoft were to do a game where they had a system like this and they call it like the I hate you system, whatever they call it, and it was even close to the Nemesis system, they could be sued for breach of patent protection and violation of the patent. And they're just screwed. Like, so nobody's really wanted to touch it. At this point, it's unclear what Warner Brothers would do if a studio attempted to implement a Nemesis style system in the future, given similar systems have already been added to major franchises like Assassin's Creed. What they're referencing there is that mercenary mode. If you guys remember that, in like Odyssey, they had all those mercenaries you could chase down. And I don't think those are quite the same. Like the Nemesis system was way more elaborate than that. Have you seen the UFOs hearing? Yeah, I saw that. It's like, but yeah, I saw that. Last I heard, it was like there was one guy that said he believed that the government was in possession of alien bodies and extraterrestrial technology, which is like kind of crazy, but also like it's a guy. And that claim is so crazy extreme. I kind of want to know Like, I want more than that. I need a little bit more than like a guy said a thing. He has like credentials. He's not just a nobody, but I would kind of like to know from some other people. Defend the fortress. Let's do it. You know, like, I just don't know if that's enough. True melee missions, fort attack and defense did anything in terms of XP, but I think that's why Shadow Wars post-true ending is grind, because you've exhausted those options. Yeah. Well, and this particular save on the Xbox Cloud that I have here, I've like bounced in and out of every once in a while over the last handful of years, because I mainly played back like, oh.
Me and this scar have been waiting a long time.
Oh, this is one that cheated death. Well, that's fun. Attack from above. Dude, he's pretty good. Oh, he's fireproof. That's great. Yeah, the source is trust me, bro.
I will have my revenge next time.
Next time, makes sense. Oh, now he can resist those. Dude, if this guy gets away and continues leveling up, I'm screwed. Because he's got a lot of perks. There we go.
You think you're better than us? You enjoyed the kill, don't you?
Whew. Dude, these finishers were so smooth. Man. So all of these guys are like super low level. This is one of the things, like if you don't resolve these attacks frequently enough, you just have a bunch of these fortresses that are surrounded by super low level orcs, so there's no challenge. Luke, when you get burnt out or like don't want to work, what do you do to motivate yourself back? I know a detour, it's just something I have been struggling with. I don't know what I just pressed. Crap. I mean, it's a very good question. It's something everybody struggles with, so you are certainly not alone. I think oh, Jesus. I think one of the keys is to have a varied set of hobbies and things. So getting burnt out on work, the unfortunate reality is a lot of work you can't really help getting burnt out on, like beyond taking a vacation when you can, but a lot of people don't have the luxury of taking vacations like beyond a week. When I worked at Best Buy, it was like, oh, I have vacation time. But it was like, I couldn't afford to take a vacation time because it was like, they would pay you pennies on the dollar. So I could try to use sick days, but then they would fire you if they found that you were using sick days for vacation time, you know? So I think it's a very tricky problem. As for like a broader balance, I think it's just important to have a handful of different things that interest you that you can participate in. And oh, lovely. So for like me, I've recently gotten into Warhammer. So people were asking me on stream like a week ago. They were like, what have you been playing? And I was like, well, I've been playing this and that game, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, one of the things I've been having the most fun with is just building Warhammer stuff. Like, you assemble the little bugger, and then you paint him, and then you fight, I know this is Age of Sigmar, but he can be played in 40k. It's complicated. But like building my army, painting it, we've been having a really good time with it. Like it's a new hobby of mine. It's a new interest, and it's still nerdy. It's still geeky, but it's different enough from the video game stuff that frankly, like the last month or so, the main channel hasn't been doing well. We always expect that. July is always stupid slow, so videos just don't do well. And I think it's because most gamers are also kind of burnt out in July, so everybody's kind of taking a break. So that's part of it. But for me, I'm like, when my stuff isn't doing well or isn't doing as well as I would like, I feel burnt out. I like shut down. And I think that's very normal, but that's why you got to have something else that you can engage with to shake it up and realize like it's okay if you take a little bit of time to figure out what you want to do or what you want to specialize in. This guy is super badass. I love his armor. Just look at that. Oh. What is this vacation time you speak of? Sounds nice. Yeah, no, exactly. Nikki and I are very fortunate now to be in a spot where like I can work on some videos ahead of time and we can get them out. There's certain times of the year it doesn't really work. So just peak times. But did he start the fight broken? Oh no, it's because he's being executed.
You maggot! You interrupt the wheels of justice, and now justice will be.
I'm recruiting him. His
what
armor
you
is so
just-
sick.
I've got tricks you've never seen.
Oh, he don't give a crap about that. Oh god. Yes, I'm playing this on like the whatever difficulty. It's like the hardest difficulty, but it also like it doesn't nerf your damage. He's gonna kill me. Oh yeah, baby. Oh baby, that was sick. He saved me. Oh wow. See, that's one thing you gotta love from the Nemesis system. That kind of thing wouldn't normally happen. Isn't that great? No way he just killed me as I run away. He did. As I'm running away. Mug.
Your body is a vast library of elixirs and tonics that I will use to fuel the Dark Lord's army.
Okay, Mug. Well played, Mug. See, now he goes to level 44. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm probably better served if I want to grind these people up. I'm probably better served just letting them kill me. Am I not? Like, wouldn't that just be better? But it's super annoying because, like, he goes up to level 44. I'm level 37. So if I want to recruit him, I have to defeat him once, shame him down to like level 34, and then I can recruit him and then assign him to do stuff to level him up. It's just like a super roundabout way of doing it. Can you just go and like kill one of these guys? No. Okay. Anyway. Politicians are fixated on legacy. They want to pass things that outlive them, especially if it's Byzantine and impressive. They're always looking for the long-term legacy. Yeah, and I think it's just like when you're in a spot where everybody knows who you are, everybody kind of has to respect you and treat you like faux royalty because you're powerful and you can make their career or break their career. That probably is like a high that you don't want to give up on, you know? Like I can understand that kind of human desire. I still think you should be noble enough to hand over the keys to somebody else. Sorry if you have already answered this, but what drew you back to play this older game? Well, I'm going to be doing a video on it, and I want to always give it a fair shake. so not just pop in, because the video is only going to be like 20 minutes long. You know, the video can't be anything too crazy. Okay. So that's part of it, is I want to give it a fair shot. However, more than anything, it's just an interest. Like, this is a game that is really good. It's a solid game. It's just that it was built out in a way where it was based entirely around the wrong things, and it was monetized based on stuff that like actively undermined the core gameplay system. It would be like, you know, Bethesda being like, okay, Starfield, everybody loves flying their ships in space, but in order to do that, you have to have space fuel, rocket fuel, and the only way you can get rocket fuel is either by traveling to this really inconvenient place way off in the corner of the map, and it takes you a ton of time to do, and it's very grindy and annoying, or you can pay $10 for the unlimited gas pass, and it gives you access to the gas you need to travel to those parts of the galaxy that you want to travel to. Everybody would be like, screw you, man. Like, you just made like the coolest part of your game a chore for everybody else. Like, that's just not cool. Like, if you're not spending money, the game's not fun. How is that? How does that work? But they do it all the time. Like, this company did it with this game, and they did it with Battlefront 2 and Diablo 4. People were worried they were doing it. I don't think they've done that yet, but there's concerns that they are. They just broke the game in other ways. So it's just a lot. Man, hearing this XP grind is turning me off from the game. Sad to hear how bad they made it in a game because of greed. Well, and let me be clear, like I've said this before, grind is not an inherently bad thing. If you have a game system that's really awesome, you can introduce grind, and that's not necessarily bad. Like, if you could probably say that something like repetitive actions in an ARPG is grind, because you're grinding up your abilities and grinding better rolls for weapons and things. And for some games, that grind is the gameplay system. Like, that is how the game works. Like Diablo, that's a big part of it. People run and do that. Or Monster Hunter, people grind multiple fights over and over and over again because they want to try and get gems that they need or stuff for crafting that they need. And that is almost like in and of itself a gameplay system. The grind is part of it, and it's a good thing. And in this case, the grind here is like enjoyable, it's fun, but it is just incredibly samey over and over and over again. You're going to be doing the same basic thing, which I think is where grind is particularly offensive to the senses.
No, we skipped right to the execution.
The Nemesis system is a throwback to when the gaming industry was still trying to innovate. Yeah, it really is. Like, purified. It really is tremendous. Like, as a gameplay system, there haven't been a lot of other instances of the industry doing something this novel that also is so crazy interesting and fun. Oh, come on. Like, more than anything, I just need to recruit these guys.
Haven't seen you since I was a lowly grunt.
Ooh,
A long time
book.
has passed. Let us reunite.
It's like lines like that are really fun because it's like, oh, so was this guy a grunt when I was going and taking on one of the other orcs that was higher up, and then he was like on the side, like basically a sidekick for that guy. Like, it's just super cool. But man, patent it and then do nothing with it. My hope is that they might be doing something with the Nemesis system. They're actually, and I'm not making this up. Sorry, sorry, Mitch. There's Nemesis system Harry Potter. There were rumors. Let's see. The job listing mentions how Warner Brother Games studios, mainly Rocksteady, Avalanche, and Monolith, have, quote, unique technical advantages thanks to different systems. We're looking for someone to take these strategic systems and join them together with Unreal Engine 5 to build a framework for the next generation of DC Universe games, for Harry Potter Universe games, and for Lego and Mortal Kombat games. Basically, like, they describe the Nemesis system, and then they have job listings quoting DC games, Harry Potter, Lego, and Mortal Kombat. So people are wondering if they're going to introduce, like, the Nemesis system into a Mortal Kombat game, which at this point, that's still probably a handful of releases away, or Harry Potter game or whatever else. So it might not have died where we thought it did. How are they going to apply it to the Mortal Kombat game? I think it would just be basically like in a campaign or maybe a Nemesis mode, you would fight randomly generated people in a Mortal Kombat game as opponents, and then they would have different abilities, different skills, different moves that they could do, and then they adapt to your play. Like, it could be interesting. I think it's better served in an open world game like this where you're exposed to a lot of NPCs constantly. So maybe the Wonder Woman game we'd see it, but even then, like, there's so much potential here. It's just heartbreaking we haven't seen it yet. The Harry Potter game is the one where I'm like, I really don't know what that would look like. Nemesis system in a Harry Potter game. I guess you're fighting rival wizards and then that happens, I guess.
Look at those lazy globs. Don't they realise Mordor is a dangerous place?
Hey, Club! Now you're what we like to call unlucky.
Yeah,
Get
this is
it,
not going to
mates.
go well. It's level 24. Oh, there's another.
You can tell by the look in his eye. He's wondering how there will be enough for you to
Oh,
go
it's the front
round.
guy? Are there two there?
It seems you do possess some
This
elixir
turn, like,
of life.
pure
And it
chaos.
seems I will have to open you up again for exploration.
For science.
For science! Poison proof, hates when Azran's grog maker is here, or near. He's a slayer, face it head on, powers, okay. Yeah, my orcs are gonna get pummeled, yeah, for real. Such is life, they will find somewhere else that's a better fit for them. Yeah, that's definitely the attitude you have to have. Oh my god, dude, there's like 5 or 6 here.
I'll listen to you rattle.
Can't keep up with me. Try standing here. Don't hurt me.
Don't go there. Go over here.
No, no, no.
He's retreating. Okay, well, I mean, it's something. Okay. Oh, God.
The elements sing along. Not so smart.
Okay. Gee whiz, dude. Jump. Oh my god, dude. Oh, I wish there was like a quick dodge for those.
I said thank you for dying.
Push crimp got me. Rest in PP. Rest in PP. What is grog? Grog? Like whatever you think it is, it's probably not. Because it's just kind of gross. It's like watered down rum, and usually like kind of gross cheap rum. So like the origin, during the early modern period, sailors required significant quantities of fresh water on extended voyages. Since desalinating seawater was not practical, fresh water was taken aboard in casks, but quickly developed algae and became slimy. Stagnant water was then sweetened with beer or wine to make it palatable, which involved more casks and was subject to spoilage. As longer voyages became more common, the storage of sailors' substantial daily ration of water plus beer or wine became a problem. So, following England's conquest of Jamaica in 1655, 1/2 of an imperial pint of rum gradually replaced beer and brandy as the drink of choice. So it was like how they preserved water on long voyages was by putting rum in it, and then that made grog. So grog is just like super watered down rum. And it doesn't spoil because it's alcoholic, but that's where like the meme of really drunk pirates comes from, because they kind of were. Like, it was the only way they could keep their water clean. You thought it was just a fictional orc beverage? No, it's a real thing. Like, if you ever want it, just like, you can look up a recipe, but usually it's like equal parts water and rum, or sometimes three parts water, 1 part rum. But it doesn't work, dude. It doesn't work. The grog maker. If I can shame him, I think that'd be good. If I can get him, he's level 37. So maybe I recruit him and then have him jump this guy with me, and then he'll jump to like level 40 something. I think that's what I do. Or maybe I assign him here. I'll like assign both of them to jump him. I think that's the play. Hey Luke, so glad to see you're giving Shadow of War another go. I recently got the platinum for it. Also, RIP, we've all been there dealing with 6 captains and underleveled. LMAO, cheers from Quebec. Cheers, my friend. Thank you. M&A. Thank you. And yeah, we're kind of digging ourselves out of a hole, because all of these guys, all the captains, the warlord, everybody, they're all like in their 20s, and we need them up in the 30 to 40 range. So we are digging ourselves out, and I'm going to have these 2 guys jump him, and I'm going to go help. And then from there, we're going to go try to take on the grog maker. I'm going to try that. Wow, so that's where, yeah. This game is more panning on the user's end, or padding, than the devs did when making Valhalla. Yeah, it's like, again, it's such a conflicting thing for me, because I really do like the gameplay here. But normally when you're playing a game, like, you do X, Y, and Z, and then there's another thing that rewards you for doing all of that you can use to progress and move on. Yeah, level 49. I could take him on myself, but I just don't know. I think if I can get these guys involved after I get Mug, I think that will be a better way of doing it. Yeah. And like, you can just move. The kind of frustrating thing with it is, if you want to just not plan at all, Rocky, like, you can play it and you can just like turn your brain off and, oh God, and go through the motions. Jesus. This is the tough thing with playing on like the hardest difficulty, is that you just get pimp slapped with 2 attacks. And I'm dead. Like, okay. Well, there you go. Now he levels up. Pug.
A lump of dead meat, ready to be butchered.
But you see what I mean? Like, if I want to just get level 40 orcs, I might as well just let them kill me. Right? Oh no, did they jump him while I wasn't there? Oh, that's going to be a problem if they did. Project Zomboid? That sounds familiar. Maybe. Yeah, you can go in without planning. Proceeds to die instantly. Yeah, exactly. Level 41. Now I can't recruit him again. I have to shame him. Mother bitches. Mother bitches. And like the difficulty options you can choose. So like brutal is enemy are as fast, intelligent, and lethal as on Gravewalker, but your damage is greatly increased. Might and Wraith meters fill faster, allowing you to use more special moves. You have at least one chance by default. Or you have one last chance by default. So it's this hardest difficulty, but they don't nerf your damage, which is nice. Nemesis, put your skills to the test. Orcs are smarter and more adaptive, requiring careful consideration of each enemy's weaknesses. Death is guaranteed. Normal, standard, they will not succumb to you easily, but are likely to experience everything that the Nemesis system has to offer. And easy is just like, I don't think you're gonna see everything the game has to offer. But like if we go to normal, just to like show you the difference, let me just let somebody punch me. Like, I'll just let an orc slap me around. After I gain intel. After I gain intel. Death threat. I'll get intel on this guy because I think that'll help. Vulnerable to stealth. Okay, that's good. Can I know what game it is? Oh, for review? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's probably not like on the tippy top of your list of like, ooh, is this happening? Is this coming? Hit me. Okay, 1 hit. 2 hit.
How'd you like that, talk? Show me what you've got.
3 hits.
I'll kill you.
They're so much less aggressive. 4 hits. So I'm probably taking 4 or 5 by the time I'm dead. And then that heals so much. Jeez, dude. I like the gay orcs. I get a team of them. You do you, man. Also, oh, you know what? This is one of those moments of like intrusive curiosity. I kind of want to know in this context, how does like there's no good way to frame this. In Lord of the Rings, how do orcs reproduce? Because you never see female orcs. Let's see. The Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien does not explicitly explain how orcs reproduce. However, some passages suggest that they are bred in some manner. In the Silmarillion, sorry, with this font, they all look like L's. Silmarillion. It is suggested that the first orcs were corrupted and twisted elves, taken and transformed by Morgoth, originally a great and powerful being named Melkor. He was later named Morgoth, the black enemy, after his fall into darkness. There are other instances where it is suggested orcs breed in a manner similar to the other children of Ilúvatar, elves and men. In the Two Towers, it's mentioned that Saruman has been crossbreeding orcs and men to create the Uruk-hai, which suggests that orcs and men can interbreed. Oh God. Which by extension, that orcs may reproduce sexually. It's also noteworthy that in both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, we encounter references to orc women and orc children, which again suggests more traditional methods of reproduction. In Peter Jackson's film adaptation of Lord of the Rings, more monstrous and industrial interpretation of orcish reproduction is shown, with orcs being birthed from mud. I remember that in the films, but I wasn't sure if that was canonical or anything. This, however, is not a concept that is explicitly confirmed in Tolkien's writings. In summary, the exact nature of orcish reproduction is not conclusively detailed by Tolkien, and as such, it remains a subject of debate among fans and scholars. Is that something you needed to know? Is that something anybody needed to know? Can you go into this without knowing anything about Lord of the Rings? Yeah, no, honestly, like, I think if you watch the films, for example, you probably will appreciate a little bit more. Because you'll see little references, little tidbits. In Shadow of Mordor, for example, you know, you'll meet a recognizable character, we'll just say. So there's reason, I think, to expose yourself to the franchise, but I don't think you need to. Like, frankly, if you play this and you think the world seems interesting, then you can go watch the films and you'll appreciate this all the more. I know Tolkien died long ago, so who decides if new Lord of the Rings works are canon or not? Who decides what is canonical now that Tolkien is dead? So I don't know how to spell Tolkien. Oh, it's I-E-N. Okay, and canonical, there's only one N. Oh, good to know. After J.R.R. Tolkien's death, his son Christopher Tolkien assumed the role of managing his father's literary estate. Christopher edited and published much of J.R.R. Tolkien's posthumous work, including the Silmarillion, the Unfinished Tales, and the 12-volume The History of Middle-earth series. However, Christopher Tolkien passed away in January of 2020. The Tolkien estate, now managed by a board that includes other members of the Tolkien family, is now responsible for managing his works and legacy. Yeah, it's important to note that while Tolkien estate manages or maintains control over the original works, adaptations like Peter Jackson's movies or various video games often have creative liberties under the specific licensing agreements. Consequently, there can be divergencies between these. Interesting. So it could be like down to the estate, but at this point, it's such a huge thing, Tolkien lore like this, that probably there is not like any singular person or group. It's sort of like a team effort as to whether people agree. What's here? Seriously need help with BIOS updates. I'm terrified. I'm going to absolutely wreck my setup if I mess up. Help. Do I follow? Did you follow a tutorial? Are you talking about specifically on the ROG Ally or with your PC? Because PC BIOS updates, they're really not bad. I usually wait like a couple of weeks after the BIOS update is released to do it, just because you never know. Sometimes there's been a couple of instances with like, oh, that's gotta be him. I think it was Asus, wasn't it? There was like a scandal where they released a BIOS update that actually ended up kind of causing problems. So they had to backtrack it real quick. Like it turned a bunch of motherboards into potatoes, I think. So that can occasionally happen, but it's really, really rare. And not the common thing. But if you follow just like a basic tutorial, it's really simple. You'll download the BIOS onto like a thumb drive. You turn off your computer. You plug the thumb drive into your computer. And then you power the computer on by like while holding down F10 or F2 or whatever the button is that the tutorial will tell you for your motherboard. And then it does its thing. Like, it's really honestly pretty easy. Some motherboards have support in the BIOS. If you just smack like the delete and F11 keys while booting up, it'll take you to the BIOS menu and then they can download it themselves. That's really rare, I think, only on like really high-end motherboards, but it's not that bad. It's true if you do it wrong, it can just like brick your whole motherboard, but it's hard to do it wrong if you're following a guide, frankly. In the same way, like, you can technically very easily burn down your house using your oven. It would be shockingly easy, right? But as long as you like don't put paper towels on top of the burner, as long as you turn the burners off when you're done using them, stuff like that, you're gonna be fine. It's just you have to follow basic precautions. But as long as you do that, you'll be okay. Drinner, thank you, my friend. Seriously need help. Oh, I just read that. Can you tell my brain's fried? Thank you for the $5, my friend. Luke, do you uninstall any games? I'm sometimes. I have like a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD I keep everything on, so it's not super common because I just don't normally need to.
Now what we have here, a game of chance. Odds have been laid, though we can't see them yet. Only way to see what comes up is to play the game. So let's play.
Did I watch Rings of Power? I did not.
Why are you wasting me?
Oh, it's him.
It took time and skill to butcher that. Here, let me show you how it's done.
He's back. I'm gonna draw him over here and blow this up. He's back. Oh no, he's retreating. Oh no, I tried to dodge with B again. Yeah, you can freeze them. Oh, I love it. You can shoot their foot. Oh no, don't. That's not what I wanted to do. Oops. Level down to 21. Now he's like actually useless to me. This guy ran away last time too, coward. Yeah. They have little personalities. I'll give them that. So back down to 36. Okay. Now I'll go back to what I was doing. You see what I mean? It's kind of annoying that they kill you, they will jump to a higher power level than you. So then you have to go in and defeat them once again. So you've taken them on now twice. And then you have to shame them down. And once you've done that, then you can fight them a third time. And technically you should be able to recruit them. But it's just like step after step after step after step. You know, it's just a lot. And I mean, as long as the game is fun, who cares, right? Like, oh no, woe is me, I have to keep playing the game. But when the game is already so grindy, it's just kind of annoying. Games like these just make me feel sad. I mean, it's always tricky critiquing something like this because on the one hand, it feels stupid because I'm like, this sucks. I have to play more of the game, more of the video game, and that blows. And that feels like a stupid complaint to have. But it's specifically when the content that you have to repeat is extremely tedious. That's where it stops being fun. And that's where the criticism comes in. That's when you have a problem with it. There he is. He's down to 21. He's terrified of Grogs. I don't think that was stealth. I was just jumping on top of him. He knew I was here.
No, no, no!
He's retreating again. Okay, recruit.
Swear loyalty, Orc. Combining efforts is a wise choice.
I'm at a point in my life when I remember these releases, it makes me remember how much time has passed. Kind of depressing sometimes. You're not wrong. Like, it is crazy to think that this is going on 6 years old. That is a little like ridiculous. So I agree with you. That's a little jarring, I think. Pit fight. To fight to the death in the pit, survival will increase his level. Do it. They both run away all the time. It was honestly still a fun game. The power fantasy, raising an orc army and sieging castles was dope as hell. Plus, I love Alistair Duncan and her Alice Celebrimbor. He just nailed that performance. Yeah, it's... This really is one of the most conflicting games I can think of. Like, it's just filled with a lot of really good stuff and then also filled with a bunch of garbage. Let's see, where to next? Execution. Enemy captain is executing one of his warriors. I guess let's go there. But you see, this is most of the game. Like, this is most of it, where we're just going kind of from thing to thing to thing, and you just flip your brain off. And
Okay. Look.
oh,
Look at what your wicked
cheated
filth
death.
devilry has done to me. You have to die, so that no more Uruks will face the same fate.
I have a whole squad, bruh. Oh no, the camera's kind of glitching. Oh god.
Now you kill me. It wasn't enough just to pollute my
Oh, God.
body with your filthy elf devilry.
I want to capture him though. I don't want to kill him. So I had to fail that intentionally? I mean, first of all, that's badass, but I had to fail it if I wanted to do that? Okay. It's a bummer. So Luke, what could be added to this game to make it really great? For one, I think they need to... like, they have a broad approach where they focus on quick encounters. So some orcs you'll fight, kill within 5 minutes of meeting them or seeing them for the first time. And that's because they just want to kind of flex at how many are here. But I'm also frustrated by that because it feels like it's kind of rare to have... I don't know. It feels like most of your time is stuff like this. It's just taking down waves and waves of grunts. And it's true, sometimes they can take you out, which is annoying, but that's, you know, that's part of the game. I forgot to turn the difficulty back up. Oops. But like, that's part of it. I think playing on a harder difficulty can balance a lot of this because you will die more frequently. And that's actually one of the key mechanics in the game, is to be killed so that orcs level up, orcs become more powerful, and you can build those relationships with them. So weirdly, you have to, in some cases, like, to progress faster, you have to die intentionally, which feels weird. It doesn't seem like that's how that should be. It seems like if your game has set it up so that you have to die in order to progress at a reasonable level, something's gone wrong. So like, how do you fix that? It probably is just a ground up redesign of the XP and progression system. Because again, the whole system was seemingly balanced around you having loot boxes to progress faster, to get XP boosts and to do all of this, which is just annoying. The main story, I don't personally like how it's structured and set up, but it's not the end of the world. And as for like the rest of the game, it's again not bad, but it really does just feel like one of those games that was built around a couple of cool ideas and then the monetization scheme. And the only way you can really fix it is by starting from scratch, like going back to the drawing board.
He took my thing.